Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I'm gonna be honest, I felt like Jason was actually out of pocket today with Anna. This is pretty much after he pretty much kicked Carly out the room, and he was like, how long did you know about Jocelyn being a WSP agent? So at first, okay, fine, she didn't sit there and tell him for like months or whatever. I can understand the being blindsided and being angry and everything like that, and him being protective for Jocelyn. I get that. But then once she sat there and said, hey, listen, if I would have told you, Jack would have put me in prison under national security or something like that, at that point, he should have been more understanding. Because she did not tell him that because she didn't want to. She didn't tell him that because she literally didn't have a choice. And so when she pretty much was basically saying that she pointed him in the right direction, so this way he can find Jocelyn and Britt and everything like that, he looks at it like you're manipulating me. Jason, I know you're not used to having these things called human emotions, but like, bro, maybe this is like the first time you're using them in a long time, so you're a little kind of rusty. But it's almost like you're acting like, bro, she literally told you that your niece was in danger without sitting there compromising herself, and I don't know, putting herself in jail. But yet you're sitting there acting like a little soy boy and being all upset and on your feelings, talking about, well, you betrayed me and this. I'm like, bro, really? I guess this is what happens when you have the character play a robot about 20 or 30 something years, and then you finally give him some human emotions, and he clearly don't know what the hell to do with them. Um, I thought that the whole Jocelyn and Vaughn hookup thing was kind of like a one-off sort of thing, but when they started making out after I don't know, surfing or whatever, I thought this was like somebody's dream or whatever. I thought maybe one of them or both of them was having like a similar dream, but they weren't. And it was like, we're going to be careful, just that and the third. Jack can never know. Jack walks right in there like, you know what? Let me give you 2 minutes. They get dressed, they debrief him, and long story short, he pretty much just kind of deems the mission a failure. Basically, they're saying that they risk their lives. How did he put it? Uh, Risk their lives, defied his orders, and has nothing to show for it, right? But to be fair, they're already compromised by Colette. Somebody who you've been working with for years, and apparently she was right under your nose, and she was a goddamn spy. So even if they wanted to defy those orders and everything like that, they still would have been compromised. So maybe he's just in his feelings. Maybe today's episode is just in your feelings sort of thing, but like it wouldn't have mattered because they would have been found out of the way. Now he talks about there's serious consequences and da 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 da. I'm like, alright, bro. You have somebody who was a mole on your goddamn nose for God knows how long, and maybe some of that blame should be on you. Just saying, she was second in command, so somebody had to approve that. I'm just saying. Um, what else? Oh, Brick is back in town, and long story short, Brick, there's something where the money that's coming from the judge is going to look like is Drew and not Sonny. So that's going to make him look bad politically, and just pretty much just kind of screw him over, right? And then when Carly comes in, Brick sits there and asks both of them, "Do you think Michael did it?" And of course, they're like, "It's not going to matter because Drew is going to make sure that he pins it on Michael because he's so obsessed with Willow and getting back her kids to get back on her good graces that he'll do it." He will do it. But of course, again, Sonny's like it's not going to matter because once that money gets looked at, nobody's going to sit there and believe him anyway. I have a feeling that you know yours not going to be done, but I guess we'll sit there and see. Now, Lisa woke up, and Britt's alive and everything like that, and it just looks like Lulu is just pissed off. Lulu looked like she is so mad that Britt's alive. She's just like, God damn it, I thought that bitch was dead. That's the look that she had on her face. Okay? And of course, there's a point where Britt finds out that Ben is in the hospital because that's a much better name than Rocco, let's be honest. And of course, Lulu gets territorial, and Nina assisted and tries to keep the peace for the most part. And Lulu tells Liz to kind of stall on Rocco's treatment, the stitches and stuff like that, just to get her up out of there. And Nina's like, listen, how about we just go back to the house, just kind of chill and debrief or whatever. So they leave, and then when Rocco gets out the room with Lucas, Liz tells Lucas that Britt is alive, and Lucas wants to tell Brad, but for some odd reason, Liz is like, "Oh, you don't want to do it. He might have been snipping in on it. Who knows?" My whole thing is that they probably can't get a hold of the actor. Um, so it's like Liz is like working overtime. Oh, he don't want to get back into it with him and get back into a relationship. Everything's going so well. All he's doing is making a call to sit there and say his friend is alive. Why you look like you're about to have a total meltdown? Like you are really, really doing too much. Um, Dante and Lulu bring Rocco back, and Charlotte comes downstairs, and they tell him Britt is alive. We don't know how. He has 1,000 questions, and of course, Lulu is on pins and needles. Now, back at Nina's place, Lisa wants answers. And at some point, Britta's like, listen, it's been a long flight and kind of jet lagged. I want to sleep or whatever. And Lisa's like, nope, I've been waiting for a long time. You've been dead for a long time or whatever. I want to know answers. And Lisa's not happy when Britt pretty much admitted that she faked her death. Um, she says she did that because she didn't want them to see her slowly die of Huntington's disease and have the family and her mother, go through that. Lisa was pissed. Lisa was so pissed that at some point she smacks the living fire out of Britt. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see that shit coming. I mean, I knew she was mad, she was angry, she was hurt, and I see how it comes across like you took that away from her. You took that time away from her. I don't know. I mean, it's always a messy situation because then I go back to Eric on B&B, and Eric now sitting there telling Reg or the family about his condition. And some people will sit there and say, well, it's his medical right to his privacy and stuff like that. And I get that. And on a logical and somewhat sense, I get that point. But I feel like it's hella selfish with him not telling his family. I think that is extremely selfish. Like that shit pisses me off just thinking about that. So I get where Lisa was coming from. The smack might have been a little over the top, but I get that anger. I get that. They still can't find Outback, by the way. And at some point, Emma and Gio. Emma is really proud of herself. She feels like she's getting close. And Dalton comes in, and Emma apparently has like one of his favorite cheesecakes. They talk up for a little bit, and then he gets a call, basically saying a shipment is coming in. And so he leaves, and Emma's like, it's going to be revealed tomorrow. overheard him sitting there saying that he has a shipment. Obviously, it's animals or whatever being tested. He has no idea what it is, but she just assumes it's animals. Um, and then Gio has to sit there and tell um, Emma because Charlotte told him that Outback is missing. So you got a shipment coming in. She thinks it's animals, and Outback is missing. Which, by the way, I actually do like that name. I don't like a lot of names on General Hospital, like Scout and Rocco, and I can't think of anyone else right now. But when I do, I will say something. But Outback is fine. Just put a leash on your dogs. Avoid shit like this. I mean, listen, if your dog is strong and his leash snaps, you can at least sit there and say you tried. Um, what else? Oh, and Jason said that he's not going to tell Carla because Jocelyn, made him promise not to sit there and say anything. So he's going to honor that. But he does sit there and say, Anna, if you had told me that before, then I would have told Carly. But I'm like, but she couldn't tell you because, jail. Remember jail, right? Remember prison? Remember what that was like? Yeah, yeah. So that's why she didn't do it. Again, I don't understand this emotional meltdown that Jason's having. Anyway, I feel like that is about it, more or less. Now, if I forget anything, write in the comment section below. I will be talking about it tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll sit there and talk about all the shows, as you know, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.